Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Nur Ilmia. I am majoring English Education, Class C24. Well, in this video, I want to explain about listening and teaching listening. Listening is a crucial part of daily communication in any language. It accounts for half of verbal activity and plays a vital role in educational, professional, social, and personal situations. It is also an extraordinarily complex activity that requires many different types of knowledge and processes that interact with each other. Many teachers consider teaching listening challenging because it is not clear what specific skills are involved, what activities could lead to their improvement, and what constitutes comprehension. Students are also frustrated because there are no rules that one can memorize to become a good listener. The development of listening skills takes time and practice. Yet listening has remained somewhat ignored both in the literature and in classroom teaching. If your definition or listening refers to such a concept as interpretation, meaning, or comprehension, you have managed to capture its complex nature. When people listen, they interpret the incoming sounds and pick up important words from the flow of speech to construct meaning. They also make guesses about what they are going to hear next, and check the new information against their predictions and knowledge of the world. Listeners use strategies to cope with difficulties of listening in real time. They try to remember at least part of what they heard and prepare an appropriate response in the case of face-to-face interaction. These processes are not separate. They happen simultaneously in the listener's mind and are interrelated with each other. This is why listening is described as active skill. Although their efforts are invisible, listeners have to work very hard to make sense of the oral input. As a person hears a message, it enters the sensory memory, where it is stored in its original form for about a second. In this time, the brain distinguishes it from other noises, recognizes words of the language, groups them together, and either forwards them input to the short-term memory or deletes it depending on the quality, urgency, and source of the sound. The short-term memory keeps the input for a brief period to analyze it against the listener's existing body of knowledge. After the message has been understood by associating it with or differentiating it from the other information, it can be retained in the long-term memory forever. The brain, memory, and speech recognition processes are included in the cognitive dimension of listening. And there are 6 methods to teach listening. The first is information transfer. To apply this technique, the English teacher uses 6 pictures as a medium. And the second is paraphrasing and translating. This technique included in post-listening activities where students rewrite the listening text in different words using their own words. Then teacher asks students to read their writing and check whether it was suitable or not to the dialogue they had listened. The third is answering questions. This technique included in post-listening activities where students answer 5 questions based on the dialogues they had listened from the cassette and then corrected together in class to know the right answer. The fourth is summarizing. This technique included in post-listening activities where students were given several possible summary sentences and asked to say which of them fit a recorded text. In other words, teacher asked the student to retell the dialogue based on their own words after they listened to the dialogue on the cassette. The fifth is filling in blanks. This technique included in while listening activities where students were given the transcript of passage or a dialogue with some word missing and must fill in the blanks while listening. And the last, the sixth, answering to show comprehension of messages. This technique included in post-listening activities where teacher asks the students to give tick or cross to indicate which was the correct answer from the four choices, such A, B, C, and D, for the questions about monologues they had listened from the cassette. There were 10 questions that should be answered by the students. In this practice, I use answering questions without. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, students. How are you today? Great, I'm pretty good, thank you to ask me. Well, then I will check your attendance list. There is no absent today, right? Yes, good. Well, today we are going to practice listening. Have you ever practiced listening? Yeah, good. So, I have prepared a video and we're gonna watch it together. Yeah, are you ready? Well, we are going to watch a video about Thanksgiving holiday celebrations in the United States. So, what do you think people will be talking about at such a party? Have you ever been to a US Thanksgiving meal? What is it like? How about your country? Do you have something like that? A day of giving thanks? Is it different than in the United States? Okay, very good. Now, here are some words that we've learned. You have to group them according to 3 categories. What do you have under beverages? How about food? What did you put into greetings? What other US traditions do you know? What could you add to each category? Well, good. Let's watch the video now. As you listen to the conversation, try to find answers to the questions on your handout. Right? Yes. Let's read the questions together to make sure we understand them. Okay, let's watch it after watching. What did you choose for the first question? Does everybody agree? What do you have at? What else do you have here? Oh, I think he said delicious. Now, let's listen to this piece again. Do you hear that? Okay, next question number 2. Alright, how about number 3? Let me go back there. Did you get it? She sees the last harvest. Okay. Number 4. Why was he late? Tagwit, what's your answer? Romina, what do you have? Good job, everyone. Good job everyone. We are going to watch it again. This time we all focus on expressions they use at the table. Look at the exercise number 2 on your handout as you listen. Circle the expressions they use. Did you find the exercise? Any questions? Are you ready? So, what can you say to invite everybody to have a seat at the table? Yes, what else can you say? Rachel? Good. What does Sally say to get the gravy? How about drinks? How do you ask for a drink? And if you don't want it? Alright. What did the hostess say to Overwood? Yes. And how did the guest thank her? Good, you got it. Now that you have learned the phrases, let's role play. Imagine that there is a Thanksgiving dinner and you are invited. 2 students will be the host and the others will be the guest. Try to use the expressions we have learned. I will put them on the board. Well, student, you have a role play. Yeah, I think it's very great. I think enough for today. It's time the end of the subject today. So today we have a practice listening and we have a role play. Yeah, I think it's very good. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for honest attention, and thank you all of you. Right. Well, but I hope next meeting I will better than today, right? Okay, thank you everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.